Hi Cancer, this is your general tarot reading for Cancer Sun, Moon and Ascendant or Rising sign for the month of November. Cancer, let's do as we always do. We'll shuffle the cards and we'll wait on all the right ones to come out for you, my love. And in the meantime, let's talk about the energies that you may feel throughout the month. So, as the first card hops out, you are leaving October, entering November, still under the influence of the big full moon that happened in Taurus in your 11th house. So this could mark a period where you are closing off some project with a team, with a group of people, maybe a team in work, or maybe something that you'd been a bit stressed out about or worried about that you were doing on the internet, on social media. It marks a period where that stress and pressure seems to be coming to an end because you seem to have done a beautiful job with that. 11th house is also friends and people who think like us. So you could be closing off a period there too. Maybe, I don't know, leaving behind some friends for one reason or another, or just removing yourself for a while from some people that you had associated yourself with. And that's okay. It's all right. You're just doing that for now. It also marks a period of you leaving behind being one voice in a crowd, being a part of a crowd speech, being part of a team where the individual voice isn't heard. And this might have kind of bothered you a little bit too, because the sun is moving into the 5th house and asking you to dig a little bit deeper, to find more meaning in what it is that is your true creative expression, your true voice that doesn't give a damn what the crowd say, your true voice that doesn't care what's trending. You know, if you're doing something on the internet, it doesn't matter. You don't want to follow trends. You want to be an individual. You want to be unique, to separate yourself somehow from the herd and to become a free thinker and a free creative person. It's a great time for creativity. If you are doing that, it's a great time to separate yourself, as I said, from the tried and tested. A great time to separate yourself from the established way of doing things. Everybody, this is the trend. We all do it this way. And you're saying, well, in order for something new and fresh to come, I need to separate away from what's in the trend, what my friends are doing, what the teams are doing, what the larger human experience is doing, in order to be that individual and lone voice, creating something passionately and uniquely different, something that's meaningful for you. So it's a great moment where you get to really play and dig deep about what makes you happy, what brings you joy, and how to put your specific voice on that without fearing criticism from friends, without fearing criticism from your teammates in work or sports teams or any other society. That it's safe now this month for you to explore maybe speaking against the crowd, against the herd, being that, you know, like the story of the emperor and the new clothes, where all the crowd were saying, he's wonderful, I love his clothes, they're beautiful. And you just point out and say, the emperor is wearing nothing. So it's wonderful to explore that, so that you can point out your unique opinion on things and do it in a meaningful and happy way. So that's why it's very creative, and that's why it brings you great joy, because finally your voice, your beautiful Cancerian, meaningful voice and heartfelt voice and opinion is now finally heard. And it's done with such a sense of confidence. 5th house is where we are confident to express our truth, confident to show something off that we do, confident to create something that really speaks of our experience of what's happening to us as a unique individual. Personalizing your experience of this world is where it's all at this month. Your personal Cancerian stamp is where everything becomes a success. So that's a gorgeous energy. 5th house has a lot to do with love and the expression of love. So you might find great comfort in having meaningful, Scorpio, Sun in Scorpio, meaningful expressions of love, where you're also protecting. Scorpio and you are protective signs, where you could be protecting the things that mean a lot to you, protecting the things that you've created, protecting your love, protecting the things that make you happy. And I understand why, because there's a few things happening, and it's protecting. The theme seems to be all about protecting yourself from the thieves of your happiness, the thieves of the heart, the thieves who come in to steal your thunder. You are now protecting yourself against them. And you may also find that you could surprisingly catch a few thieves who came to steal your shine, who came to steal your Cancerian thunder, who came to steal your magic. And why is that happening? Well, it begins with the big thing happening for you this month, Cancer, where the North Node of Destiny. This is where it's at. This is where you're all pointing forward to. This is where karma must be played out in the big theatre of life in order for you to evolve and grow into this wonderful being that you are evolving into. And the North Node is moving into Cancer, into your first house. So you are the kings and queens that are driving this kingdom of karma. Yeah, destiny lies in your kingdom, in your hands. And what will this mean for you? They're lovely words, but what does that mean for you? Well, this is a moment where you suddenly get more confident and sure about what things mean to you now, and separating your feelings from other people's feelings. You might get a few lessons. It could be quite a challenge, Cancer, but it's a challenge worth running with and not hiding from. It's a challenge worth embracing, taking that torch and really, really making this a winning race for you. Because you get to recognize where other people have been making you feel less than. Why? It's not necessarily because they were doing it deliberately. It was because their voice was louder than your confidence. Their criticism was louder than your foundation. Their negativity and in sometimes pure nastiness was louder and stronger than your sense of inner emotional security. So what does that mean? Examples. You're doing something in work, doing something creative, trying to push ahead in your career, trying to really build something wonderful, a big wonderful success, which you are doing slowly and surely with Uranus, but we'll talk about that in a moment. But you're building something great in your career. And you find that people come out and pick at your insecurities. You might do 99 wonderful things, but there'll be one thing out of 100 that you don't do perfectly, and somebody will come and knit and pick at that. It's a time where people are, that you feel a rumble in the undercurrent, where people are picking at you, where people are replacing the gaps in your confidence with their nastiness, with their criticism, with their maliciousness. So here's what you have to do now with Cancer in the North Node Cancer, in your part of your whole point of destiny and karma, is to fill in those gaps where the critics and the naysayers and everybody else came in and filled in the holes. So how do you do that? You understand that you are the one who's in control of how you feel. Other people don't get to say how you feel. If you're having doubts or suspicions somewhere in yourself, stop and say, but that's natural. Despite some doubts, despite some worries, despite some fears, I'm okay and it's natural. But ultimately, I don't hold this as a great big fear and hide it, and then somebody spots it and jumps in, and instead of filling that black space or empty space with something positive, they put something dark and critical in it. And every time then I turn back on this project that I'm doing, the only thing I have in my foundation is their voice telling me that I can't do it. because I didn't fill in that empty space myself with something positive. You see? So you get to recognize from now, beginning now, how to first identify those empty spaces in your confidence, or the gaps in your confidence, and to protect yourself firstly from those negative bitches, from filling in that gap with their criticism. So every time you go back and check, well, how do I feel about that? You're not hearing your voice, you're hearing their voice. So now you fill those gaps in your confidence with your voice. And it's a voice of love. It's a voice of confidence. It's a voice of reassurance. It's a voice of ease. It's a voice of optimism. It's a voice of comfort. And every time you look back on a point where you had some fears about something that you were doing, or some relationship or friendship that you were in, when you check back and say, how do I feel about this? The reply that echoes back up to you is your feeling about it, and not anybody else saying, I'm going to fill you with doubts. That person you're in a relationship, I told you they were no good. Watch them, they're no good for you. Or the thing that you're doing in your project, the thing that you're creating in your career, or whatever, you know, watch. Cancer doesn't know what they're doing. Cancer doesn't know what they're doing. So every time you check back to see how am I doing, you don't hear that voice anymore. You're silencing other people's criticism, and in turn you silence your own inner critic. And instead you replace that with warmth, as I said, with optimism, with the knowledge that the only feelings that you have in you about anything you're doing in your life, or about any relationship you have in your life, about anything that you give your attention to in your life, the feelings now towards those things are your feelings, and your feelings alone, and all the other voices are silenced for once and for all. So that's a brilliant epic journey you're about to go on to, where you feel that when the critics come to you, first house is about reactions and responses. When they come, they don't trigger something in you and go, how did they see that? How did they know that I was uncomfortable? How did they know that I was worried about my weight? How did they know that I was worried about my appearance? How did they know that I was worried about my skills and talents? How did they know that? I have to hide. Now when the critics come, you say, that doesn't affect me. It doesn't trigger me, because what you'll also see in your response to that criticism is you saying, that's your shit, not mine. That's your problem, not mine. You want to hate me, you want to tell me where I'm going wrong. That's none of your business, because they're your fears, not mine. Everything you're projecting onto me, that's yours, not mine. You go and work out your shit. I've got mine all sorted out. You've got your life to live. Why don't you figure out your own bloody mess rather than trying to wedge your fears in on top of mine? You figure your shit out, because I'm busy here getting on with filling myself up with confidence, with optimism, so that I am ready for the next level of my karmic journey. Because this is my journey. Why should I carry other people's voices in my heart? Why should I carry anybody else's criticism? Why should I carry anybody else's doubts, fears, insecurities, rules, regulations? You can't do this, you have to do that. Why should I carry that? They're not my words. They're not my fears. That's your shit. You carry that. I am not your, bellboy. I am not your servant. I'm not going to carry your shit. I have my own future to get on with. I have my own emotions to develop. I have my own experience of my entire range of feelings to explore and play with. And my creativity. These are mine. They're not yours. So carry that shit yourself. So that's the energy. As Jupiter on the 8th of November moving into the 6th house says too, it's opening out stuff that's happening, maybe criticisms that are happening behind the scene, where there are maybe fears of losing your reputation, fears of losing your power, fears of losing, fears of getting smaller and diminishing, fear of being pushed back into the shadows, of being pushed back into the background while somebody else who slapped you down and stole your thunder steps in and takes your shine and says to you, get back, this is my place, I own this. They can't own your place. They already have a place. You have your place. They can't steal your place unless you agree to let them sit in. I'll tell you this, there was a great quote from the very famous William Shakespeare, and he said, I would not put a thief in my mouth to steal my brains. And anybody who criticizes you or pours negativity in you or tries to steal your shine or steal your thunder or steal your place in wherever it is that you're trying to create in your relationships or work, don't put them inside your heart. Don't put their words when you look at your relationship or something and say, and repeat the words they've said, oh, maybe they're right, maybe I am a failure, or maybe I don't deserve to be doing this. You're putting their words, you're putting the words of a thief into your mouth to steal your brains, to steal your heart, to steal your emotions, to steal your experience, to steal your growth, to steal your evolution, to steal your journey, to steal your destiny. So take the thieves from your mouth. Take the thieves from your heart. Take the thieves from your experiences. So that's gorgeous. Jupiter in Sagittarius there in the 6th house could also be asking you to expand out and open out where you had these fears that might have come out in forms of anxiety, worry, excessive worry, and to really focus now on taking pride in your health, taking pride in bringing yourself into good equilibrium, into good balance, knowing that you don't have to give your energy to the thieves of your destiny. And with that knowledge, knowing that you can settle back into a lovely groove energetically again, a nice groove in your heart, a nice groove as your future unfolds. So that's what's opening out, to kind of pick out all those little prickly things, little annoyances, little nuisances, little, I won't say the word, let's keep it clean, but yeah, you're going to be picking those little needly things out in order to just flow again smoothly, to flow without any annoyances, to not be like the princess and the pea. You remember that story where every time she tried to rest and relax, she could feel the little annoyance as she tried to sleep. Those little annoyances are going to be opened out and shown to you. It might be uncomfortable, as I said. It's certainly not any more uncomfortable than trying to live your life with little annoyances under your mattress when you're trying to rest and dream of your future. So it's a little bit of uncomfort in order for you to have ultimate comfort. It's worth it. Now, another thing Jupiter might be bringing in is great luck when it comes to pets. Some of you really might, on top of taking care of your own health, you might really want to create a space to take care of the well-being of a little creature. And it could be a small creature, a little small creature, or it could be a cat, dog, somebody that gives you comfort. You see, an animal will always give you love. An animal will always give you that nice positive vibe. They will never say, I'm sorry, I'm not going to talk to you. Well, unless it's a cat. No, okay, we'll exclude cats from this. But they do give you love, and they're always sincere, they're always authentic, and they're always genuine. And this is the nice energy of having animals in your space, or little pets. So it's something that you might welcome to encourage that nice healing feeling, the feeling that some lovely soul is around you that is so true to you, so honest, so authentic, and just pours love for you. So that's a gorgeous thing maybe to keep in mind if it's something that it's possible to do. It's an opportunity that could happen. Now, another big thing that's happening is Uranus is moving back into Aries in your career house, and also the area where you are holding a lot of responsibilities within the family, within friends, anywhere where you are seen as a responsible, respectable person who honors their promises and takes everything seriously, you know. Usually we say that's within the career, but it doesn't have to be for you. It could be within your family. And certainly honouring and respecting now this new business of you taking care of your emotions and making sure it's only your authentic voice coming out when you say, how do I feel about this? That's a responsibility also. And because Uranus is in Aries, Aries is the self. So I think it's a lot to do with this. Taking huge responsibility now. The most important and responsible and reputable thing that you can do now in your life is to take responsibility for you standing up confidently, like Aries, confidently, boldly, with a sense of authority, and being a little bit selfish. And when we hear the word Aries, people always say, oh, they're selfish. They're not really. What Aries are is they are self-motivating. They think of themselves first because their job is to always go in and kick a door wide open so that everybody else can follow. The ram butting his head in and breaking down something, not for himself, but so everybody can follow. And this is key for you here in this lesson that's starting in November. Have the responsibility, as I said, to be like the ram, to kind of knock down and ram down with a great sense of force and self-motivation anything that steps in your way of, look, the Ram card, the Aries card, the Mars card. Yeah, beside death, something is dying, and then the Ram energy to motivate yourself so that a better flow can follow on behind you. If you're going to now establish yourself like Aries, who's this is me, this is what I own, I am this. You are now more confident in your sense of being in touch with your true authentic voice and voicing your feelings. Then the things that follow are good things. Good people will follow you. You motivate yourself, you inspire other people, and they follow you. It's very empowering. You see, there's all offshoots to this energy. You could say it's very selfish to just say, I'm going to go home and just be all about me and me separating myself. That's selfish. It's not. It's generous, because when you do that, you could be a great example for other people, a way shower for other people. You show them how it's done, and that could be the most loving and inspirational and divine thing that you do for other people, by standing up for yourself and silencing those critics. You see how it works? So Uranus retrograding in Aries is all about having that authority again within your emotions, and certainly within your career. There may be some last things that you have to do to go back for a few months and tidy up something in your career where you may have, like the Moon in Taurus said, fallen into the crowd, falling into what the group thinks, falling into what trends are doing, falling into what your friends tell you you ought to be doing. It's saying, you've fallen for the trap. You were so close. Come back and start again and stand up as an individual. And forget what other people are saying. Forget their influence. Forget their criticisms. So this is so empowering. Do you see how it all links in? It all links in to get you back into the future of success, of aiming high and shooting for the stars, Cancer. It's powerful, very powerful. Mars on the November the 15th is moving into Pisces in your 9th house. The 9th house is where you have targets that you're aiming for. And Pisces is all about dreams, about no boundaries. Maybe it's about time that you get back into that zone of not feeling limited, having no boundaries. And of course, if you do everything that we're saying that your karmic journey is asking you to do, about having full confidence in yourself, then you won't be bound by the limits of other people's criticism. You won't be bound by people telling you, who do you think you are? You won't be bound by that. You'll be boundless and limitless to aim for your targets. It's a great time to aim for targets, but also to aim for putting energy into maybe the foreign people, foreign cultures. Maybe they might have some great sympathy and empathy for what you're trying to create, what you're trying to do in your life. You could get great advice and spiritual advice almost, or even psychic advice from somebody who is not of your culture, somebody who thinks so differently to you. But it's their different point of view that adds this beautiful softness to your journey. So it could be a time where you're putting energy into moving, traveling, and go for it. Explore, explore, explore. Pisces can be the outer limits. Perhaps you really want to now explore the outer limits. So you're both exploring the inner limits and outer limits, which are both the same. Your inner world is boundless. Your outer world is boundless. So maybe that's the great big Piscean journey that you're putting your energy into this month. Understanding that what's being reflected outside sometimes by these people criticizing you, it's a reflection of the fears that you hold inside. You're probably saying, I'm doing this now and I don't want anybody to criticize me. This is exactly what I don't want. And bam, along comes somebody and does what? Criticizes it. So there is a reflection of what's inside and what's outside. And you're exploring that this month. It's powerful, powerful. Other things that are happening, we have the new moon on November 7th in the 5th house. A great time to start new connections, to doing something that makes you happy. Falling in love even. You could find, for those looking for love, a new love around the 7th of November and onwards after that. It's just a time where you're feeling more happy within yourself. And it's like a moment where you get where you're supposed to put your positive energy. You get where you're supposed to put your creative energy. It opens out and it shines. Love shines this month for you. Your creativity shines. Doing things with children shines. Doing things just for the hell of it, just because you're having fun. That's where it's all about this month, bringing back the fun. Now, I'm aware that the introduction is quite long here, so I'll just say Mercury going retrograde in Sagittarius. We've spoken a little bit about that. We've touched on those subjects, going back and digging up some of those fears and criticisms we spoke about. Venus going direct in Libra on November 16th in the 4th house. So there could be great harmony coming back in your home. You might be thinking of beautifying your home. Maybe you found the money that you needed to decorate your home or make your home feel more homely in some way. So home is very important around the 16th of November, making that a happy and harmonious space. And again, realizing sometimes that the home is reflective of what's going inside, particularly for you, Cancer, that a happy home is a reflection of the happiness in you and so on. So you're coming to all sorts of epiphanies this month about your inner happiness and taking away the things that have been making you unhappy. And again, Sun in the 6th house on November 22nd, the same thing. Removing and cleaning, detoxing, removing the maliciousness, removing those little annoyances, removing the thieves of your thunder, silencing your critics. Yeah, as 2 cards come out, the Sun, just saying the Sun, silencing your critics. And one more card, we have the full moon on November 23rd in Gemini in the 12th house. This is a moment towards the end of the month where you get to surrender everything you've been working on through the month. All those nasty vibes, all those nasty bitches, all those people who wanted to steal your place, wanted to steal your creativity, wanted to steal your relationship, maybe even wanted to physically steal something from your home, steal a possession. By the end of the month, you're able to let that go because you're more in touch with the 12th house, things of forgiveness, surrendering. Let that shit go. Why did I worry about that? It's just a thing. Why did I worry about that person's criticism? It doesn't matter. Why did I worry about any of it? And you're very much in tune with a lot of psychic energy towards the end of the month. You're cleaning huge amounts of psychic trash by the end of the month. And you are very intuitive and psychic. Definitely, definitely. Now we're waiting on one last card. I'll choose it because we have gone so long with the introduction. Now, Cancer, let's move over and see your big, grand overview. So we begin with the Page of Wands. This is you standing more sure of yourself, as we said, with Uranus, the big surprise rebel, sweeping back into your life like a bolt of lightning and saying, somebody stole your thunder? Bam! Here's more thunder. They can't steal what they don't own, because it was only you who owned that thunder, because it was given to you by the gods. If they steal thunder, they will never shine with it. It wasn't designed for them. It wasn't meant for them. And here comes Uranus in Aries now saying, get back up on your feet. Treat this as something that you are now holding great responsibility with. See, he's holding his own. He's holding his magic wands. He is holding his magic, and he is cocksure, like Uranus in Aries. So cocksure that he is owning this shit. And when we see the page, we do recognize that he's only a beginner. He's only learning how to wield this magic. That's why he's looking up and he's saying, okay, I've got this magic now. I've got this responsibility now. Now what do I do it? Do I use it for good or ill? But you're going to use it for good, of course. All this wonderful magic that you feel again as we come into November. You're going to use it well, because this is a water card. This is very much like you. Somebody who is receptive and open. Somebody who is willing to put a lot of the stuff that has been weighing down inside them aside in order to be more receptive to magic healing, in order to be more receptive to the new confidence that's sweeping in you, in order to be more receptive to a new sense of enthusiasm, a new sense of courage, boldness, daring, a new sense of being able to stand up for yourself and protect yourself. Because let's not forget, look at him. This is a guy who has a weapon, and he's not afraid. This guy has no fear. Look at him, no fear. He's not remotely one bit afraid of using that weapon against anybody that challenges him. So you are taking all this in like the Queen, receiving this great new energy that's arriving in for you. On a very literal note, some of you could be, okay, this could be like Aries energy, Sagittarius energy, fire energy. Some of you could really welcome the guidance and assistance and love and nurturing that comes from a very strong character, maybe even a fire sign that's Aries, Sagittarius or Leo, that you have a great amount of respect for them, a great amount of love for them, and you're opening up to what they have to say, because now you are more ready to experience that fire energy in you, to be supported and to have a rod in your back, to have that strength in you. You're saying, I'm open, let me have it. So it could be a fire sign that's really kicking things off for you this month. And she is, let's not forget, quite psychic, quite loving, quite healing. So it could be on a very psychic level you're working with a fire sign. Also, it could be that you're attracting the love of a fire sign. So you're really in this between water and fire. You could be creating this great steam, hot fire meeting cool water, creating steam, but also creating a warm, loving lagoon, let's say, where you can heal, rejuvenate, like a warm jacuzzi, let's say, where you heal all the aches and pains, as we said, all the emotional aches and pains. There's great warmth and great love in the beginning of this month for you. It is gorgeous, Cancer, really gorgeous. And what this will kick off for you, what this new strength, and you're being receptive to this new strength will do, is it will destroy the old way of doing things. It will destroy everything. And because the things that weren't built on solid ground, go back and remember what we said. If you were doing something and you had insecurities and there was a gap, and those insecurities were filled with the voices of people saying, you're useless, you're too stupid, you can't do this, that's pathetic, that's mediocre, that's low grade, you can't do it. That's what's going to come down. Tear it down. Come in like a wrecking ball and tear that shit down, because there was nothing secure about that. There was nothing solid about that. And do what? Re-engage, reconnect. Mercury in Cancer card. Reconnect with the Cancerian energy of only communicating Mercury with what it is. It's only the Cancer voice now that's been said. All the other voices are silenced, like the Tower of Babel. All the other languages, all the other words, all the people, all the noise and chaos that made no sense anymore is coming down, and it's been replaced by only words from Cancer, Mercury in Cancer, communication from your beautiful self. You're replacing all those old nasty words that were being held inside you with the beautiful words. And look at this. This is a beautiful card. This is celebration. This is, look at them. They're light. They're happy. They're joyous. They're flowing with emotion. Cups, healing. Cups, psychic. Cups, love and loving expression. Purity. The truth. And those cups are flowing and being shared. That's you in your most authentic place. Being loving and sharing and communicating from this whole place. The wholeness in you. Gorgeous. Now, look at this. Look at this. Here we have a wonderful thing. Now, this looks awful, doesn't it? Look, disaster, disaster, but it's actually great news. Mid-month, what you might find is that you suddenly wake up to something. You suddenly wake up to the realization that there was a lot of pain around you, a lot of nasty words, a lot of criticism, everything we've said, too many people with too many opinions that weren't positive opinions, putting their knife in, stress, stress, stress. And then there's a moment, particularly mid-month, where you wake up to this. And you say, now I know why I was like the princess and the pea, where I couldn't sleep comfortably and rest comfortably in myself, where I couldn't sleep well at night, where I couldn't rest easy in my relationship, friendship, with the things that I was creating in my career. Because there were too many other voices, words, swords, words, nasty words, too much going on. Also taking on board the opinion of too many people when it didn't matter, it didn't count. They've just made me miserable. And that shit is now going to die. Look at this card, Death, the great noble. Noble, remember, don't fear him because he's a noble riding in on his pale horse. Excuse me, he has a job to do, and it's a noble mission to destroy the king, the old dominance, the people who held dominance in your life, the people who said, get back down, I'm going to take my place and your place. You don't deserve a place, I'm the boss, so you shut up and you put up. That shit's been knocked down. Beliefs, the Pope. This is where he also knocks down that old belief, the old narrative, the words, the things that you were told that limited you. He's just knocking that down. And you see, what's surprising is that the only one who seems to be cheering and welcoming death, really, is the little innocent one, is the child, is the one who is just saying, yay, you're my hero, and waving the flag like it's a big parade and saluting the noble that rides through. So the energy of the fifth house, the sun in the fifth house supporting you, saying, look at everything that's happening, everything that's been destroyed around you, and cheer it on and say, yay, the old structure is dying, the old bullies are going, the people who kept me limited in my beliefs are going, and I'm going to cheer that shit on and wave as the parade goes by. Yeah. Now look, I did say there was great energy of the fire signs, and here we have Aries and Leo. We also have a second Leo card here. Optimism, self-motivation, drive, pushing something ahead without any fear, without any doubt. The fire signs believe that nothing can stop them. They believe that when they begin something, it is going to be a success. Now, obviously, they learn to change as they go, but they start everything believing it's the best thing that anybody has ever seen in the world. And this is what's been brought into you. Here we have, let's say on a more literal level, we did say Aries and Leo, but here is you reclaiming your throne. It could quite literally be you reclaiming dominance within a relationship, reclaiming some authority within your career, speaking to the boss, and, you know, not having any fear, having the strength to confront the boss, having strength to confront a bully, having strength to confront anybody who says, oh, well, I'm sorry, Cancer, this is as far as you can go. Your skills and talents are limited to here. Your ability to get into a good relationship, you're limited by your looks, you're limited by your personality. You now have the strength to say, that was all bullshit. That was just a lie. I can be anything I want to be. I can stand up and have the strength to slay the demons and follow the path of the sun. You see, this infinity symbol is really the symbol of following the path of the sun, which is in your 5th house, like the child doing everything with a sense of, I believe I can do it. There's no question about it anymore. I believe I can do it. Moving ahead within your career and maybe having great strength and camaraderie with your boss or with a key figure, getting back into good graces with them, getting back feeling that you're in doing something side by side with powerful people, doing something side by side that you are not the subordinate, that you are on an equal footing and on an equal par with the best of the best, without feeling any way diminished by that. And that's what I love. I love, love, love that. Now, here towards the end of the month, we do see something that you might be tackling. Here's the card of disappointment, sadness, feeling rejected, feeling left out, feeling unloved and insecure. And you are, by the end of the month, going to have to really feel that, Cancer. You're going to have to experience all those awful things through your relationships, through your friendships, through your careers. Why? Why must you feel that? So that you can get back in touch with all those deep fears, deep worries, deep sadnesses, the fear of always being rejected, the fear of not being good enough, the fear that even though now, say you might have lots of money, you might have grown up from a disadvantaged home, but you're always worried that somebody might find you out. So you might be worried that somebody might find you out, that you were, let's say, an ugly duckling when you were younger, but now that you're beautiful. And there's no such thing as ugly ducklings. I even hate saying that, but I'm just using it to just give you an idea. But it's that fear of being exposed and you're trying to hold the hurts together. But when you go through that moment towards the end of the month, it's only to let it go. Because what follows is this great big reconnection to yourself, the recommitment to yourself, to love yourself. You see, these are two people who think the same and they love each other the same. So it begins with you saying, I'm not getting into a bad relationship anymore. I'm not getting in with a bad group, with bad friends anymore. I love myself so much and I see the reflection of that coming back in my life. When it comes to your relationships specifically, I would say, for those of you in a relationship that is a bit upsetting and that is hurting you, there is an opportunity to heal that and get that back on a good footing. You can, if you think this relationship is worth it, you can get it back on track. But the journey begins with you not hiding your feelings, not feeling always being punished and criticized, not taking things so to heart, not being offended. Because once you're more happy and content in yourself, the words of other people won't matter. So that's what I'm saying. I'll say this. For some of you, it could mean a relationship might possibly come to an end because you recognize that the relationship was feeding these insecurities. It was filling you up when you exposed the gaps in your heart. It was being filled with their criticism or their high expectations or their lack of love or their withholding of fulfillment. And there is an opportunity for you to leave one relationship that made you feel negative and to enter into a brand new one that feels more like something that fills you up, that makes you feel more healed and nourished. Yeah, healed and nourished. You know something, Cancer? You have such fire energy going here and you have a soulmate card right beside the sun. You could find real love and passion either with a Leo or a Scorpio this month. There is somebody who will give you that true, genuine love. And if it's something that you're open to receiving, it could come from a Leo or a Scorpio. and they give you that nourishment back, and they see all the best qualities in you. They see you shine. They see you shine. They don't want to steal your thunder. They don't want to bring you down. They want you to heal. They want you to shine. They want you to Cancerian glow. And here's the last card. By the end of the month, your focus is on it. This is a Sun and Virgo card. Your focus is on work by the end of the month. You're able now, it seems, through everything we've discussed, to clear out so much psychic junk that you're able to focus now on being responsible within your work, focusing now on the things that matter in your life. Focus on making money, focus on making your dreams come true, focus on your studies, focus on your career, focus on getting you right from the inside out, and only focusing on that, to master that. This is the card of mastering. Now, Virgo is quite 6th house energy, and you are mastering your response to the negative people and naysayers in particular. So it's a magical month where you get your wonderful inner sense of magic back, Cancer, and where those who were once the thieves of your happiness, the ones who silenced you, who stole your voice, who were thieves, who put words in your mouth to steal your brains, that they are gone now. They are silenced. So Cancer, what a wonderful month for you, and I'm going to leave it here. But before I go, I want to tell you something, Cancer. I want to let you know that I'm doing a project on Vimeo that is called The Deep Read. And what it is, it's an extra reading. It's roughly about 60 minutes long. And the reading here every month will always be here, but there is the option then to go deeper with this, to focus deeper on love, relationships, work, career, money, friendships, luck, so on like that. All the deeper issues that we touch upon here in the general reading, I'll go deeper into those themes and topics. Now, they are not personalized readings. Unfortunately, I can't do that, but I do dig deeper. So you could find out something more about something that we've just touched upon here, or something more specific. So I would love you to come if it's something that you can do. I've kept the price as low as I possibly could for these videos so that they are potentially as accessible to everybody as possible. So if it's something you can do, Cancer, I would love you to come and see the very first deep read on Vimeo. I've linked it below, and as I said, come if you can, if it's something you can do, and let me know what you think about it, and find out what lies beneath, even more so than we've touched here. So Cancer, with that, as I said, I've linked everything below. If this is the first time watching my videos, then please subscribe and join me on social media, links below again, and do come back next month to see how this great journey unfolds for you. Cancer, as always, I'm going to leave you with all my love as you begin this magical journey, and a great big kiss. Mwah. Until next month, my gorgeous.